Welcome to the No Budget Indie Filmcast, where we dip into the independent film universe to highlight those little films that you might not have heard about elsewhere. Will you agree with our panel, or will our panel agree with each other? Tune in to find out. I am Mila Dennison, and with me, as always, are my excellent co-hosts, Claire Milan.
Hello.
And Cathal Feedy.
Hello.
Today we are watching a short called Ralph. So this is by Taika Waititi. So how I came about this, just to let you know, is I was just looking for short films on YouTube for something to pick this week. And I saw Save Ralph. Oh, it's actually Save Ralph, not Ralph. Save Ralph, a short film by Taika Waititi. So that was it. And that was my selection. I'm like, okay, Taika Waititi did a short film. I'm selecting it. And what it is it's a stop motion film following a bunny that is a tester lab bunny. And so the bunny is being filmed like he's doing a documentary talking about being a tester lab bunny. So it's basically the bunny talking to the camera the whole time. And he has this very positive attitude about being a tester bunny, like, yay, this is great. And, sure, my eye's all messed up and da-da-da. And it kind of goes through these little bits. And it's really kind of a public service announcement more so than anything when it comes to animal testing for that kind of stuff. But it's really cutely done, but also very emotional in the sense of like, oh, the poor bunny. And then you have the other tester bunnies in there. And it has nice little cameos from a lot of other people, like Ricky Gervais does one of the voices in it. George Lopez is another one that does a voice in it. So, and Zac Efron, everybody knows Zac Efron, or at least all the girls do, I assume. And of course, Taika Waititi does the voice of Ralph. And it's really cutely done. I wouldn't know if I'd go so far as to call it a short film in so much as I'd call it a public service announcement. But the great thing about anything that Taika Waititi does is he really does a great job of blending like social commentary and comedy together in a way that's not too super preachy about it and makes it entertaining, which is kind of one of the nice things about anything that he does.
Do you know what? I watched this earlier, like not knowing, I said, oh, it's an animated film. And at the very start, you're like, oh, there's a cute little bunny. Just for a second, you're like, oh, this will be lovely. And all of a sudden, your heart just crushes. And you're like, I just kept saying to myself, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And at one point, I actually nearly cried because there's one moment where he's sitting at the breakfast table and he's really positive and a tear comes down his face. And I just thought, oh my God, And as someone who's a massive animal lover, this just broke me. It was heart-wrenching. And I'm a huge fan of, pronounce his name again, sorry.
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi. I'm a huge fan of his. I think he's a genius. And this is why I love comedy so much, because it's a way to get a message across for social commentary. Because you could take this kind of message and create a really serious, crazy, shocking little short. But no, it's done through comedy and humor, which is 100 times more effective. I didn't realize Ricky Gervais and Zac Efron voiced the other characters. I didn't realize that. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
but as well in the locker.
Zac Efron does one of the other bunnies.
Oh, does he?
Ricky Gervais is like the off-screen interviewer voice, I think.
Okay, but it's a bit of a shocker where he's just like he's talking about all his other family members and they've done this, and that he, like, he's thanking us. He's thanking people, like he's grateful to have a job because otherwise he'd be out in the street. And then it says he'd be out in the street or he'd be out in the field like other. Sorry, so he'd be out in the street or he'd be out in the field like other bunnies. It's like, oh God, that's just heart wrenching. And then you see the locker, and then I actually watched the film twice, even though I didn't want to because it's so hard to watch. But on the locker, I paused it, and there's names of people who had those lockers. Like you might miss it if you don't see it properly, but.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Heartbreaking. Only that I went back to watch it because I wanted to see that because I saw in one of the comments underneath something about the lockers. Well, yeah, if you look back at that scene, you'll see loads of names on the lockers and names crossed out.
Yeah,
it's heartbreaking. And it's something because I use makeup, we all use cosmetics and deodorant and everything. To think like, what are we using? Like, what products are being tested on animals? It's shocking, really. And fair play to all the people involved in this, because it's really highlighting a really important issue, but done in such an amazing way. It's very powerful. And thanks, Milo, for making me cry earlier.
You're welcome.
It's...
Well, yeah, wow, that's the thing. I didn't realize it was so serious, like so sad either, because I just was like, yay, bunny, Taika Waititi, yay, and then you watch it and you're like, oh, man.
I should point out, right, or I know it says by Taika Waititi, but in actual fact, it's written and directed by Spencer Sousa.
Yeah, it's written by someone else, isn't it? It's not
written and directed by somebody else.
Totally. Yeah. Sorry, I guess I should have clarified that. I really didn't. You're right. Sorry.
And I mean, Taika Waititi did the voice, and probably they wanted to use his name to promote it because it is a public information video, and people like you, say, oh, Taika Waititi, I watched this, and it worked. But like you guys, I just started watching it. I didn't really know what it was going to be about. And straight away you say something wrong with his eye and his ear. So, it's not going to be a Bugs Bunny revival, for instance. Like, it doesn't take long. The film's quite short. So it gets into the theme of the films very quickly, which is obviously about animal cruelty in testing, specifically aimed at the cosmetics industry, because it's also used for medical research too. And he used the use of anthropomorphy. It does help you to sort of identify with the rabbits, but also I think it allows them to show sort of graphic scenes that they mightn't be able to otherwise if it was a real animal. So it kind of works both ways. And probably the strongest scene was when they were in the lab, and the rabbits were freeze, and it was real kind of gut-wrenching and emotional at that moment. They really were suffering. You could feel it.
Yeah.
And I did see the names on the. I like you. I watched it twice actually. I did see the names on the locker, and also something else in that same scene. If you look behind his other shoulder, you see there's a water fountain that's out of order.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So even like that small little kindness isn't available to them, to wash their eyes, which has been burnt by this chemical. So, but it does pack an emotional kick, and it really only did for me the second time when I watched it, actually.
And there is that debate, right? And I can understand the debate on animal testing for medical purposes. It makes sense. I don't like it because I'm a very staunch, pro animal kind of person too. Like anytime I eat meat, I'm a guilty meat eater, and which is why I occasionally eat vegetarian. But I can understand the need for it. I mean, you could go throughout history and say all of the human lives that have been saved because of medical testing on animals, whether you like it or not. But to test, cosmetics, to test perfumes, to test like that kind of stuff is utterly ridiculous. And like, I can't in any way, shape or form justify doing that to an animal just to see like, oh, what's going to happen if we, put this lipstick on an animal? Is it going to do something bad to it? Or spray this perfume in an animal's eye, and how badly is it going to destroy the eye? So we know what it'll do to a human eye. It's like that I can't get behind at all.
And by the way, it's not just for women, like men too, like
colognes. Yeah, I shouldn't say colognes. Same thing.
I did look this up because I was curious. I can't believe that's still allowed, And in the European Union, it's banned, in fact. And Iceland, there's not many countries actually. Most of the European Union and Switzerland, all of the European Union and Switzerland, Iceland, Colombia, Guatemala, India, New Zealand, and Taiwan are the only places where it's actually totally banned.
Seriously?
So still allowed in China, where we buy a lot of our stuff from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in the US, is it banned in the US as well, or is it?
No, it's not banned in the US.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I know this has been an ongoing debate in the U.S. about whether or not it should be banned, and politicians there are incompetent and haven't done anything about it.
and since for the sake of our listeners, which as latest polls have shown is the three of us, there's a site called PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, right?
Yeah.
And these are all the brands that, according to this website, still use animal testing. So I'll read them out. Estee Lauder, Makeup Forever, Clinique, Maybelline, Mary Kay, NARS, OPI, Bobbi Brown, Bossier, La Mer, Victoria's Secret, Glam Glow, Clarins, Origins, Elizabeth Arden, and Benefit.
And you know what? I have Benefit. This is Benefit.
Okay.
I'm sick. I'm actually, I probably won't buy them anymore because actually, I was working on a film and the girl mentioned Inglot, which is a Polish makeup company, and they're completely cruelty free. I love their products, so it's great to know that the product, hopefully most of my makeup is cruelty free. But I didn't know about Benefit because I am a big fan of Benefit, but that would definitely make me think twice about buying stuff from them.
So did you know before I read it out there? No?
No. And that's crazy because I have Benefit. Like, it's a very popular brand in Ireland. You go into Arnott's or you go into, when Debenhams was open, they've massive stalls and amazing packaging and staff and everything. But the fact I did not know that's crazy. I probably will not actually buy stuff from them now.
For instance, the Body Shop, they wouldn't. Or I mentioned Dove and Simple, products that don't.
And even Elizabeth Arden, I got Elizabeth Arden for Christmas. So that's just, and even Estee Lauder, like these are huge big brands. Victoria's Secret as well. I did not know that. Do you know what I mean? And the marketing they do, and those models, the Victoria's Secret models, like it's crazy to think. I think some of those models supported PETA. Do you know, I think some of them did. And the fact Victoria's Secret.
Wouldn't surprise me if they get offered a modeling gig, for that, but then not to realize that, that they actually do animal testing.
We're all guilty of it for other products, You're buying stuff that are made in sweatshops and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, like pennies.
It is hard to stay on top of everything, done on.
Yeah.
So we can add to this public service by kind of naming and shaming, and I hope that's up to date. But anyway, it probably is.
Yeah, it is funny. I was talking to somebody about this, and because I try to be like with the food, I try to eat grass-fed and happy cows versus, farm, those kind of things. And it's funny because with the food we eat, we'll pretty much just buy it and eat it. We don't really think about it too much about like how the animal's treated and stuff like that. Yeah, if we're going to buy a new TV for our house, we'll spend hours online researching TVs and doing comparisons and all this other kind of stuff. So our electronic devices, we know everything about, yet the food we consume, we know like nothing about. And it's kind of crazy how we value certain different things in our lives. And I know I'm guilty of that. And
it's funny because I remember I used to, years and years back, I worked for a food company and they brought us to one of those places, for kind of meat processing, and luckily they didn't have any. They weren't, doing any processing that day, but it demystified the process. Basically, we had to watch a video and everything, but it definitely put me off. I'm not 100% vegetarian, but I eat 80% vegetarian. But I know Heike, your girlfriend Milo, is completely vegetarian, isn't she?
Yeah.
But it's. Yeah, because I do feel guilty eating meat. I really do, and we do need it as well. So it's kind of a tricky balance.
Yeah, you do need the protein that comes from it and stuff.
Yeah.
I am happy. I've been trying a lot of like the meatless products and stuff, like the fake meat products, and a lot of them are actually really good. So like the Beyond Meat burgers, I've been eating those now if they're an option. So So it is kind of impressive, a lot of the options that are coming out now.
I love Linda McCartney quarter pounder burgers. I know that there's kind of a lot of chemicals in some of them, so be careful, but they're absolutely gorgeous. Like I made them there last week for my family, and with pineapple in it and everything, and completely vegetarian, and it just, you wouldn't even notice the difference.
Yeah, so we have those here actually in the freezer right now.
I should also point out that there is with the European Union that ban is also includes the use of products, that have been tested.
Really?
So maybe the ones you have there are kept the all clear. So I'd say
I must check it. I must actually go on their website to double check.
Yeah, maybe they test some stuff but don't test other stuff. So maybe if there's a way to find out which items have been tested on animals.
But that shouldn't matter, if the company gives it, like that should be a deal.
Okay. Well, should we rate this joyful, happy film that we all saw and watched?
Yeah. So I'll go first anyway. But so for me, thanks Milo for showing this film to us, because it's a complete eye opener. It's shocking, but amazingly done. That puts across a really important message in a comedic way that will leave a really big impression with you and hopefully make you think about the products you use. I'm going to give it 5 stars because I can't fault it. It is terrifically done and shocking at the same time. So 5 stars for me.
Well, I'm not sure it's a film in and of itself that's worth 5 stars, but it's a film you should watch, and for that reason I'll give it 5 stars.
Yeah, it's definitely absolutely something you should watch. It does a fantastic job of getting a message across. I'm going to give it 4 instead of 5, only because this is a film review show, and it's not really really a film in my opinion. Although it has a story that it tells and does it really well in a very short period of time. I'm going to go 4, but absolutely, I think people should watch this, and I absolutely think we need to be more aware of the products that we're buying and how they're created and stuff like that. I know me personally, I'm going to hopefully try to be better about it. Well, No Budget Filmcast fans, there you had it. We really love this. It is on YouTube. We'll throw a link out for you. And we highly recommend you watch it. And we highly recommend think about where the stuff you comes from, what it goes through before it gets in front of you. If you enjoy this show, please let us know via a comment or review. Share it with your friends. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook on @NoBudgetShow. And with that, we will say, stay tuned to see what we are watching next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.